The past 2 years have made it clear that the Biden administration has lost or given away operational control of our nation's southern border. Well, that has led to many tragic results. The further rise of the cartels and the chaos they bring was the most predictable. We recently saw the terrible story of 4 American tourists near the border violently kidnapped in a horrific shootout. Today, 2 were discovered alive and the other 2 dead. So, if the Biden administration will not bring control of the border, what can our nation's Congress, what can Republicans in Congress do to force their hand? Joining me now to talk about this and more is Lieutenant General Jerry Boykin, who is the Executive Vice President here at the Family Research Council. General, welcome back to the program.
Thank you, Tony. Good to be with you.
So Senator Lindsey Graham of South Carolina is saying the border is so out of control that these cartels are so well armed and equipped, a lot with the profits derived from trafficking people and drugs across the southern border, which is now porous under the policies of this administration, that we need to use our military to bring it under control. Your thoughts?
Yeah, it depends on what he means by using the military. Does he mean boots on the ground? I don't think so. At least I hope not. And if he does think that, then I think he's very premature with regards to putting troops on the ground there in Mexico. Now, that said, during the years that we spent in Afghanistan and Iraq, the U.S. military, particularly the Army and the Marine Corps, developed a lot of very sophisticated equipment that allows them to track people, to really be able to get into almost any kind of communications and decipher it and listen to what the adversaries are saying, and also to do imagery from overhead and read that as satellites and so forth. So there's a lot that the military could bring to the party that would actually benefit law enforcement and the Border Patrol as well.
You've been in various parts of the world where lawlessness, chaos reigns. Are you surprised, given the fact that our border, we've seen so much illegal activity at our border, that we see now this violence emerging from the now well-equipped cartels?
The cartels control our borders. That's a fact. That's just a fact. The cartels control the U.S. Mexican border. And that means that they can not only push people across and make a lot of money doing so, but they can also stop people that they don't want in Mexico or that they plan to profit from, as we saw in the case of these people from North Carolina that were kidnapped over there. And that's, I'm not sure. It's been reported that it was possibly a mistaken identity, but I'm not sure why they would grab them. Normally, when they grab somebody that they know is connected to money, and they ask for ransom. So it's going to be interesting to see how this unfolds and what we find out about it.
Can we expect to see more of this on the southern border, given, again, the lack of control that the United States has?
Yeah, listen, they've been running all kinds of rackets on that border there. That's the cartels. And they've been running this thing called a virtual kidnapping, in which they will take a camera and they'll video the children of some Americans. Normally they just live right across the border. And they'll take videos of them going into school, going to church, out on the playground, and basically what they do is they send a message saying, we know where you are, we know what you do, we know your patterns, and if you don't pay us X amount of money up front, we're going to kidnap you. Now, that gets a parent's attention very quickly. And they've been doing this for quite a while, but it has gotten so much worse since we've opened our borders, and that's literally what we've done. We have opened our borders and let people come in here, and that is, to me, I think it's illegal. And I think it's illegal because the president takes an oath of office, just like you and I did when we went into the military. And that oath of office is certainly to uphold the Constitution of the United States against all enemies, foreign and domestic. And when you selectively determine which laws you're not going to enforce, there's got to be something wrong with that from a legal perspective. It's going to get worse.
Well, speaking of lawlessness, I want to switch topics to the Southern Poverty Law Center. One of their staff attorneys arrested in Atlanta as a result of this attack on a police facility there. 23 individuals arrested and charged with domestic terrorism. The Southern Poverty Law Center releasing a statement today defending this attorney, saying that he was there as an observer defending the rights of protesters. Your thoughts?
Yeah, I'm sure he was just handing out ice cream or something, you know. Listen, as you know, and I think as you've stated in a Twitter, this is not the first time that Southern Poverty Law Center has been associated with domestic terrorism. On the 15th of August, 2012, the Southern Poverty Law Center actually motivated a guy by producing and publishing its hate list. They motivated a guy to come into our building and try to kill as many of us as possible. That's what he told the judge. He shot our building manager, Leo Johnson, but he told the judge he was here to kill as many of us as possible, and then he was going to smear a Chick-fil-A sandwich in the faces of those that he killed. That was about the time of that big Chick-fil-A dust-up. So this is not a surprise to me. These people are very, very dangerous, and they have yet to take that hate map down, but they're jeopardizing people's lives. For every day that it stays up, they're jeopardizing people's lives. And here this guy is out there in a riot. I don't think he was given legal advice as they tried to portray.
Well,
I think that he was out there as a rioter.
But if their statement is true, that's even worse, because they were sanctioning him to be there to be an advisor to Antifa. That's essentially what he was doing. And yet, I mean, we know what Antifa is. They're anti-government, they're anti-law enforcement, but yet this same organization, the Southern Poverty Law Center, sends bulletins to law enforcement agencies across this country stating these various threats of anti-government organizations. I mean, that's not even the fox guarding the hen house. That's the fox living in the hen house, eating on the chickens.
Yeah, and my point is that I would be willing to bet you that guy was very much involved in actually doing something illegal in the riot there.
Be interesting to see if he has some of those powder marks on his hands from throwing those incendiary devices. General Jerry Boykin, always great to see you. Thanks so much for joining us today.
Good to be with you.